Hey guys, it's Demi. I'm so excited to do my first Q&A. Thank you for sending in so many fantastic questions. Let's get into it. First of all, you're amazing. My question would be, what inspires you through life in general? Love what you do, so keep it up. Thank you so much for those kind words. Honestly, music is a big inspiration for me because I'm always listening to it and writing it. But with songwriting specifically, I'm inspired by everything. And my favorite thing about songwriting is not knowing when I'm going to be inspired to write a new song because inspiration comes from the most unexpected places. Next, we have what first inspired you to start songwriting? So, when I was in college, I got super overwhelmed at times and I had a lot of emotions to work through. So, I started journaling, but that didn't work for me. So, I was like, okay, I'm a music major and I'm an English major. Let's put them both together and try songwriting. And it was the best decision I made because songwriting is truly my way to express my emotions. Are you ever afraid that people won't like your content? If so, how do you deal with negative feedback? This is a really good question. So, when I first started songwriting 3 years ago, I was super nervous about this. And if somebody didn't like one of my songs, I got super bothered by it. And now I'm realizing that this is an industry where you're going to have people who like you and you're going to have people who don't. And in this world, there's no way to get every single person to love you. That's just impossible. So you have to learn how to focus on the people who do love you because that's all that matters. Who have been your inspirations for songwriting? Julia Michaels is a big one. So I actually met her when she opened for Maroon 5 on the Red Pill Blues tour, and it was the greatest experience ever. Not only just because I met her, but also because we followed each other on Twitter for a while. And when I walked into the meet and greet, she recognized me and was like, "Oh my God, you're Demi from Twitter!" And I literally burst into tears. It was the best experience ever. And also, Julia's like super honest in her songs, and that's something that I tried to do as much as possible. So I really look up to her. Taylor Swift is another very influential songwriter to me because she's just all across the board fantastic, but she also does a really, really good job with storytelling, so I look up to her too. Have you ever had anyone influential throughout your career as a songwriter? My producer, Bob, is probably the most influential person in my life right now in terms of music. I started working with him last fall, and ever since then, it's just been so awesome. He has such a big heart. He loves music so much, and we work really well together. And as a songwriter, it's very important to have a producer that you trust and someone you feel comfortable with because most of the time the songs are very personal, and a lot of my songs are. So I feel so comfortable with him in sessions. We have so much fun together. So I'm very, very lucky to have him. Would you ever be open to coaching someone else on being a singer-songwriter? Yeah, absolutely. I've only been songwriting for about 3 years, but I have learned myself some do's and don'ts. I have a songwriting process that I generally use for all of my songs. So yeah, if you want to talk about songwriting and want some advice or whatever, just let me know. I struggle at conveying my emotions when I'm writing songs. Is there any advice you can give for how to make my message clear? This is a really good question. So this is something that I struggled with when I started songwriting because it's hard to be honest at first because it can be scary to open up that much in a song. And honestly, like, if you aren't sure what you want your song to be about, it's not going to come together smoothly. So if you're struggling to find a message and know what you want to say, a big thing that I learned that helps a lot is to just journal. Just straight up like free write, get everything out. That way when you go back and look through it, you can really see what you want your message of the song to be, and then you can start picking things out and start building the song up from there. Do you plan to write a second album? Yeah, I do. After I get my first one out, though. We're not done with this one yet. But yeah, I'm already writing new songs, so I do have material for a new album or even an EP after this one is out. Do some of your inspirations from your songwriting come from your own personal experiences? Literally all of them. When I started songwriting, I just wrote whatever. I pulled on my imagination and I wrote random things that I didn't personally connect to. I actually recorded all of these songs and planned on releasing them in an album, and then I didn't because I listened to the songs and I didn't feel anything. And I realized like these songs aren't me, they're not honest. So last July is when I really started writing songs that were truly based on my life, and I'm very happy with how these songs turned out. So yes, all of the songs on my album are based on my own personal experiences. Would you ever be willing to co-write a song and even perform it? Yeah, actually, I did some co-writing back in February. My friend Kelly, who lives in Nashville, was in Pittsburgh for a weekend, and we met up and wrote a song together. It was so much fun. So any opportunities that I have to do co-writing, I would take them. And I love these songs I co-write, so I would totally perform them. Is there any way to create the music part of a song if somebody doesn't play a musical instrument themselves? Yeah, there are so many talented musicians who would love to play on your song. Actually, just this past weekend at my session, I was working on one of my songs, which is called Find Love, and it's super stripped down acoustic. And yes, I can play guitar, but only to an extent. I cannot play it well enough to record on a song. So my producer brought in a fantastic guitarist to lay down tracks for it, and the song sounds amazing. So yeah, even I do that. So if you want to write a song and you want to get it out there, but you need somebody to help you create the music for it, totally reach out to people because they will be down to help. What advice do you have for somebody who is just starting out songwriting? I have two big pieces of advice. The first one is you have to be honest, because if you believe what you write and if you connect to your own songs, then other people will too. So that's very important. Also, try to be fresh. So for me, I'm really big with metaphors, especially I like ones that are related to like the seasons and weather because that can be closely connected to emotions. So try to find new ways of saying things because there's certain things that are said over and over again and they become cliches. So if you find a new and unique way of saying something, you'll really catch somebody's attention. So be honest and be fresh. What song was the easiest to record? All my songs are easy and hard for different reasons, but overall, the easiest song to record is probably Obvious. It's my favorite song off the album right now. My producer and I are like kind of obsessed with it. When we were recording it, it was so much fun. I walked into that session with a very clear vision of what I wanted it to sound like. And I also really felt the message that day. So it was a blast. We recorded the entire thing start to finish probably in like 4.5 hours, which is super fast. And it's super fun. It's poppy. It's very percussive. And this is probably the song that I'm most excited for everybody to hear. Have you ever sung a song you were nervous about performing? Yeah, last summer was the first time I ever performed an original song. I participated in a singer-songwriter competition in Pittsburgh, and I performed my song I Don't Know Why, and I was so nervous. But at the same time, I feel like being nervous is good because, first of all, like if you're nervous to perform, that means you really care about what you're doing. And second, if you're nervous about performing an original song, that just shows that that song means a lot to you. So it was a great experience, and I'm very excited to perform my original music again soon. Are you with a label or are you independent? I am independent, but my goal isn't to become a signed artist. Yes, I love to sing, but my passion is truly with songwriting. So my ultimate goal is to be able to pitch my songs to artists, to have them sing the songs, and also get the opportunity to co-write on artist songs. Someone says, "Hey girl, when are we going to get new music from you?" Hopefully soon. I'm very close to finishing recording for my album. I just have to do vocals on one more song and then we just have to mix the album. So we're getting very close. But until then, my debut single, which is called Into Focus, is out everywhere on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music. So please go and check that out. What's your favorite Laura Morono song? And this is a tie between Let Me Cry and A Little Closer. I love Let Me Cry because it is a song that I connect to, and when I'm listening to it, I can totally tell that Laura truly believes every single word that she's singing. So I love that song. Also, I love A Little Closer because it is such a bop and it makes me want to get up and dance. How do you memorize brand new songs so quickly? You memorized Invisible String in less than a day. So, okay, I've always been good with memorization. I play piano a lot, especially in college. I did a ton of recitals, juries, and other events where I had to memorize my music constantly. So I feel like having that and also listening to music and songwriting all the time, I've just been super in tune to music. So it's easy for me to memorize. Also, songs are structured in a certain way where there's phrasing and rhyming, so you can kind of anticipate what's coming next. So yeah, I've just always been good with memorization, especially with music. What was your favorite cover you did? This is hard because I've done a lot, but probably right now my favorite cover I've done so far is Just For Now by Maren Morris. And my last question is, what are some words to describe your album? Honest is a big one because every single song on that album is 100% me. They're based off of my personal experiences and my emotions. Also, speaking of emotions, it's very emotional. There's certain songs on the album that I'm nervous for people to hear, but I hope that others can connect to them too. And also, it's fresh because, yes, it's cohesive in the sense that I wrote all the songs 100% and I have a songwriting style, but all the songs are different. So, there's one that's a Latin vibe. The one I was talking about earlier, Find Love, is super acoustic. There's some on there that are super poppy and percussive. There's some unique instrumentation in some of them, so they're all different. I'm very, very excited to get this album out into the world and have you guys embrace it. And that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for these questions. I had a lot of fun answering them. I'm going to do another one of these after the album's out so you guys can ask me specific questions about the songs on the album. But until then, go listen to Into Focus and stay tuned for more album announcements coming soon. Thank you again. Bye.